Hi everybody, it's Angela with AP Pottery here, and I am back today to do a tutorial. I should have been a little more prepared. Hang on just a second, let me go get the chicken so I can show you. Okay, I'm back. This is one of my little chickens. Now, I made some smaller ones too, but I made a couple of big ones, and this one is Rhonda Bynum's. This is her little chicken that I'm going to be shipping to Mississippi to live in her studio with her. So Mary Carolyn, one of my subscribers, one of my viewers, had asked me to do a tutorial, and I had several other people ask me to do a tutorial too, so I wrote Mary Carolyn down, and I don't have all the other names written down, but I know a lot of people were waiting for this. So today we're going to do a tutorial on this little guy. Just a second. Okay, so I'm at the slab roller, and let's see. Okay, so first thing you want to do is get you a really thick thing of slab, and I think mine, thick slab of clay. I think mine this time was about that thick because I want to make one of the big ones. And then you want to take something and get your frustration out. You know, take it. Any anger, any frustration you have, take it out on this slab. Makes it roll easier. I wasn't doing that at first, and I had it suggested to me. I don't know if Michelle suggested it, and I had known to do that. I was just being lazy and not doing it. But you know what? I decided to try it, and it does. It makes it go through a lot faster. So whoever gave me that tip, and I know Audrey had done it in her video also. Like I said, I was just being lazy. So we're going to cover it up. And after I get this on here, I'm going to be quiet because I'm going to fast forward through this part so you don't have to watch it. Okay. You know what? It helps if you get it started before you go to the other side. All right. Remember, if you don't have a slab roller, you can use a rolling pin and 2 little trim pieces of wood for your measurements. Now, I'm going to flip this baby because we've already got it going pretty long here. And we're going to go about to 1/4 of an inch. Can go a little thinner or a little thicker. Might be easier if it's a little thicker, but I don't like things to be too bulky and heavy. So feed it through. I get a workout when I'm doing that. And this is a bigger piece than I probably planned on. But you know what? Sometimes we just go with it. Okay. Now, get your rib. Smooth the texture out. We're going to lay a Ware board. I need more of this really big Ware board. I got it off of Amazon, and I absolutely love it. Now, We're going to compress it again. So now we're going to release the clay from the board. And then, let's see. So you can do it however you want. I have this large cutter from De La Designs. And who was it? Lucy at West 2, is it West 2 Ceramics? She uses them to make her gnomes with. And then Dee Dee 3D printed me 3 different sizes. So, and I just got some of it on my clay. Get it out. Okay. So I kind of wanted to make, man, I'm just slinging it everywhere. I kind of wanted to make another big one. And I don't think we're going to be able to make 2 big ones. So let's see what sizes we could make. It's kind of, I mean, they're a weird size, obviously. So we could make that one. And this one, we can make 3 different sizes here. Why don't we do that? Since it doesn't look like we're going to be able, I don't know. Could we make 2 big ones? Could we? Could we? What if we did it here? Let's kind of put a line there. No. We could not. So we will work with what we have. Do we want to do that one? Yeah, we're going to do that one. And then we'll do the little baby one. So what I'm going to do, think for a second. And we're going to decide what design we want to put on these. Let me look at my rolling pins and see what design. I think I want this design again. So if we do like this, or do we do like this? First, we're going to get the cornstarch. So make sure it goes through. I'm going to lift these pieces. And honestly, I'm going to take my knife and just kind of clean them up a little bit right now. And we're going to let them sit up. These little bits of clay, let's see. Let me think of how he looks. Little bitty bits of clay. Leave those. Don't wad them up. Okay. You can fold them a little bit if you want, but don't wad them up. We're going to save them. And I'm probably going to put this in a Ziploc bag, the smaller pieces. But while we have the big piece here, let me get a Ziploc bag. Just a second. Okay, I keep Ziploc bags down here for things like this. Make sure you get the air out of it. Zip it up. Set it aside so it doesn't dry out a whole lot. But we want to kind of do the chicken feathers. And I don't have a pattern for this because I just winged it. Ha! I winged it. Pun intended. Actually, no pun intended. I didn't even really mean to say that. But, so you could draw out on a piece of paper. And I think we might do that. So just a second. Okay, so I'm back. So just kind of draw out. And let's see. We want to save this because we're going to make some smaller ones too. Now remember, I've only done this one time. I'm still learning also. But just kind of scribble something on there that resembles a wing. Like back tail feathers. You could do Christmas trees. I wonder if hopefully my microphone is still working. Something just stopped on my phone. Okay. So we're going to let that set for a minute and let it form its bond. And I'm going to actually pull it off and set it there. Because now we've got it to where it will sit. I'm going to pause you a second. Real quick, just to show you, if you don't have a cone, when it's at the right consistency, it'll stand up on its own. So take and start forming it into that tree shape. Like I was saying a while ago, you could do Christmas trees, you could do angels, you could do chickens. I'm sure there's all kinds of things that you could do with this. All kinds. The only thing with the cone is it does give you something to push against. But it is not necessary. You can also, what I tend to do a lot of times, and you can see because I have it on there, is I will take and put a long paintbrush down inside there along the seam and use it to push on. Push against my hand. So, then we're going to put a little bit of vinegar on the outside. This one's been sitting a little bit. And if you want your seam blended, now would be the time that you would go in and blend it. Again, my little handy dandy Mudtool sponge. You can use it in there in the seam to kind of smooth things in. And then to make things kind of fun, if you have one of those cones, take the cone. I'm going to put that back on it in just a second. Okay, I have this little MKM thing that matches the design that's on here. So what I'm going to do now, and I'll take it and try and turn it where you can see it, is I am going to make a pattern along the seam, almost like buttons. And you have to be careful, especially if it's not got a cone behind it. If it doesn't, you want to put something, be it your finger or what have you, to give it almost like a button look down it. And you can see I had that already stamped in there, and other places also. Doesn't have to be perfect. So on this one, since we don't have it, and really I could have used something different since I already had that design on it, but I figured let's stick with the same pattern down the seam just to kind of disguise it. Now we want to take the Mudtool sponge and smooth our bottom of them now. Can't say that I really did this last time, but I should have. Also on that seam on the inside, you want to take a little bit of vinegar and go along it. And you won't be able to reach all the way up in there. So just kind of push with your paintbrush along the edge, just kind of moving back and forth to kind of form a seam. And then after they set up pretty good, I would take and add a little water onto them and smooth them to make sure that we have them level. Was another thing I kind of forgot to do. But go in, push the seam over a little bit. We're going to want to make sure he's level. He's going to get off level. It's going to be where that seam is. So you can trim the seam down. Okay. Kind of push it back a little bit. That way. All right. So we have our two little chickens. Just a second. Okay. So I went and got what I had used. Used that little teardrop piece. And on the smaller ones, I did a little smaller, and I went in and I just kind of cut some organic shapes with it, but I used it. So I went back in and I smoothed these out. Now what we're going to do is we're going to kind of shape them and figure out how we want his little feathers on top of his head to look. And I've got them kind of pushed together, and I think that's a good size for him. So now we are going to slip and score, vinegar and score. And I am not using my little serrated thing on this because we don't need a whole lot. And I'm out of the camera. So let me move over here where hopefully you can see me. So I'm just slipping and scoring on that inside part of it and smoothing that down. Again, they're supposed to be feathers, so it's okay. Smooth them into each other. And then we're going to vinegar. I like vinegar. You can use slip. You can use whatever magic water, whatever it is you like. I just feel like I get a much better bond with vinegar. I have less problems. Do we want to aim? So just kind of move it around until you see the shape that you want his little head feathers to be. And do you. Just do you. I'm not going to, I mean, this is what I like, but what you like may be completely different. So I just kind of smooth them in together, turn it over, smooth the back side of it. And just to show you, I have his little head feathers. And so on the little one, we're going to put the seam back there. And this is about where we want it to be. So again, go on the back, score on your little head feathers, vinegar. I'm moving quickly because I don't like my videos to be super long. I just know me, I'm limited on time, and sometimes the longer videos I just don't have time to watch. So I like to try and keep mine a little shorter. And then once you get this on here, you can kind of play with it and make it how you want. We're going to smooth him on. So there's his head feathers. Then we're going to take, let's see, he needs eyes and he needs a gobbler. And I feel like these are maybe a little too big. So let me grab the smaller one. And what I'm going to do is, I've already got it cut out into that shape, but I'm going to take my little cutter and try and make it a little smaller of a shape. Just cut some of the edge off. It still might be a little big, but we're going with it. Just a little bit of the edge. Again, put some of our bits over there. And then we're going to see how we want his little gobblers to be. And press them in there. Vinegar. And score. Smash them together. Now we have his little gobblers. Smush it. You know, such a technical term. Shape it however you want it to be. I'm going quickly on this one. And then, so we have his little gobbler. Feel like I'm missing a piece. Okay, so I made another little one, and I'm going to kind of use this to do his nose. Just to kind of, I already have that shape that I want. And you can put a little vinegar on there or a little bit of water to help you shape it a little bit more. I don't really want his nose to be that big. Cut a little bit off. Tap it. Just get his nose in the shape that you want it to be, his little beak. Get his beak however you want it to be. So now we have his little gobblers. I think for the little one, these eyes are the right size. You just want to, let's see. His little eyes are going to be a little difficult to put on. Okay, so we have his eyes. One eye is a little higher than the other. Chickens aren't perfect. Let's see. I think his beak is still a little too big. So just fiddle with it till you get it where you want. And I think we're going to go with that. And let's see. I did think it was hilarious, Nat, when she messaged me and said that. It's not what I meant. Put its beak on. And there we have him. Might want to, there's some texture around his eye, so it looks on camera a little different. Okay, so we have that. I'm letting his back tail feathers set up a little bit, so I'm going to move on. I'll be right back. Okay, so I don't know if you can see. I have one of the feathers put together, and I have it sitting here just kind of drying. I don't know if I can zoom in later, I will zoom in. But you want to take your tail feathers, take these, clean them up best you can. You want to do majority of your cleaning up now because it's going to be a little harder to clean up later. And then you're going to stack them on top of each other and then fold them over. And we're going to score on the base of it, on the base of the inside. And I should be using this one because I just like it better. Score, vinegar, score, and then stack them on top of each other. And then press them down so that they're connecting. Hold them together, tap them, help them get that seam, help them connect together. Smooth that seam, and then take it, put the seam down, pinch it, not tightly, but pinch it, and tap until you start getting this smooth little section, because that's going to be where you're going to attach it to the chicken. So you want them to kind of be together. And then again, we want these to kind of look like chicken feathers. So organic is fine. Whatever you want to do is fine. That's what makes the world go around, is that we're all so different. But kind of separate the feathers. Form the feathers how you want them to be. Separate them. And let them sit. We're going to let them sit up like this. Let them come apart. And we're going to let them sit up. Okay, so I'm going to move that one over. Just knocked that one. Push them down. Now we're going to get the little guy back. So the little guy, we're going to look at him and see about where we want his feathers to be. Now, we can score the back side. Add some vinegar. Make a little bit of slip there. And then kind of mark. You can either use your slip to mark, or you can go in with your tool and mark. And do it along your seam. Obviously, your seam should be in the back. Unless you want it to be in the front. And that's fine too. That's the awesome thing about art. It's just the creative process. That everybody does things differently. There's not one right way of doing things. So, I am going back in here and scoring with my needle tool. Just because that's what I do. You don't have to do that. It's just what I do. Get that vinegar down in there a little bit more. And then we're going to take and push him on. And honestly, if we have this, I'm going to push him here just so I have something to wiggle him up against. Wiggle and lightly push in his feathers. I like this rough one because it helps it form more of a bond. At least I feel like it does. And really, you can use, you have one of these, but mine's got stuff all over it because I didn't clean it off. This would be good. These tools to go in and kind of pull some of that clay down. On both sides. We don't need a whole lot of vinegar, but then you just want to go in and clean him up. And then go back in on his feathers. Adjust him how you want the feathers to be. Now they're going to change because they will shift and fall and different things. And you don't want to fiddle too much with his feathers because you will break pieces off. I can promise you. If you want to ask me how I know, you should already know. So, here is our little chicken. So this is how I had my other one. But now I'm thinking he needs some wings on the side. And I'm trying to decide I don't think I want to cut it, although I almost just did. Again, I took that teardrop cutter again, and I went in and cut, and then I just took my little needle tool and pressed down and made little lines for his wings. And I'm going to connect his wings right there. Obviously, I don't put a ton of thought into this stuff because if I do, I'll be here all day long. And my ADHD will do that to me. I think right about there would be a good place. My OCD is what I meant. I have OCD and ADHD, and they fight with each other. And if I let my OCD get me, I will be here all day long fiddling to perfection. So attach his wing. Smooth him on. Wish I had done this on the last one, actually. I think this is cute. I may or may not have made this wing a little too big, but we can. And I'm just pressing and pulling with my needle tool. You can do it however you want. There's no right or wrong way. So his little wing will go there. And if he has one wing that's bigger than another, that's fine. Because you know what? It's how it is in life. I can tell you, everybody has one ear that's bigger than the other. Nobody's ears are symmetrical in real life. I know this because I cut hair. Nothing's perfect. And if something's perfect, then we know that it's pretty much artificial. Take your smoothing line. I'm going to turn it this way. I can't. One of his wings maybe not perfect, but that's okay. Oh, look at that. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And if you have any of his wings in the back that are trying to fall or anything, you can always take a little sponge and put underneath of it to support it in between them. And I might do that in a minute. But look at that. I also wanted to say, I kept forgetting to say in my kiln unloads that he was inspired by Andrea at Ruby A Ceramics. I think that's the name of her page, Ruby A Studios, Ruby A Ceramics. When she made that little Rockin Chicken for Jeanette, that just got me going. And I started thinking that I could do a chicken on one of these. And then I